you know what people are saying about this house?
Most people stopped noticing me years ago.
They think nobody lives here anymore.
Sometimes I feel that way too.
Ma'am, don't say that.
Then what are you gonna do?
I'm going to remind her that she hasn't been forgotten.
Sometimes the loneliest people aren't the ones who live alone. They're the ones who feel invisible to everyone around them. A small act of kindness can remind someone that they still matter. I was driving to my next lawn job when I heard an argument coming from a house at the end of the street. An elderly woman sat quietly in a wheelchair on her front porch, while a neighbor complained about the condition of her property. The grass was overgrown, weeds had taken over, and the bushes had grown so high. From the outside, the house looked forgotten. But when I heard the old woman say, "Sometimes I feel that way too," my heart sank. I parked my truck and walked over. After the neighbor left, I sat beside her and asked how long she had been living there. She smiled and said she had lived in that house for more than 50 years. She told me she used to know everyone on the street. Neighbors would stop by for coffee. Children would play in her yard, and people always waved when they drove past. But as the years went by, families moved away, friends passed on, and the neighborhood changed. Eventually, the visits stopped. The phone stopped ringing. The holidays became quiet. Then her health began to decline. After several surgeries and years of health problems, she became dependent on a wheelchair. She could no longer push a mower, trim bushes, or even pull weeds from the garden. She said the hardest part wasn't watching the weeds grow. It was feeling like nobody noticed she was still there. I told her she wasn't forgotten, and I planned to prove it. I unloaded my mower, trimmer, blower, rake, hedge clippers, and pruning tools. I started by mowing the tall grass that had nearly swallowed the front walkway. Then I edged the sidewalk, removed thick weeds growing through the cracks, and cleared the path leading to the porch. Next, I trimmed the overgrown bushes, cut away dead branches hanging over the roof, and cleaned years of leaves from the flower beds. By the afternoon, the entire front yard looked different. The grass was neat, the pathways were clear, and sunlight finally reached the porch again. The old woman sat in her wheelchair watching everything with tears in her eyes. She wasn't crying because of the yard. She was crying because for the first time in years, people were talking to her. Before I finished, several neighbors had gathered in the yard laughing and sharing stories. One of them admitted they had lived nearby for years but had never introduced themselves. The old woman smiled and said, "I thought everyone had forgotten I was here." One neighbor replied, "We're sorry. We should have knocked on your door a long time ago." By sunset, the yard looked beautiful again.